Hello, family. I'm Chris. Can we start back over? hey, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I am Chris.
All right, time out. 5.
Wait.
Okay. You ready? 5, 4, 3, 2.
Hey, everybody. I am Chris.
I'm Curvin.
Welcome to episode 3.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to start this thing off with the jar, the bucket. What are we calling this?
Yeah. So, as we did in the last episode, and coming over into this third episode, we're kind of getting our footing a little bit more than the previous 2 episodes. But we added a segment to kind of begin, just to get the juices flowing a little bit. We called it the jar conversation. So we're pulling from an invisible jar of
The virtual jar.
Phrase, words that have been passed down from time to time, generation to generation, man to man. And we're just going to talk about them.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like, if anyone has any phrases they heard of or think of, don't be afraid to DM us on our socials or you send us an email.
Yeah, absolutely. So give me a number between 1 through 15.
6.
6. All right. Drum roll, please. Self-control.
Whoa. Self-control.
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 Whatever comes to your mind now.
As I've gotten older, I've been able to control a lot of aspects of the things that I've used to do, things I've done, and sometimes things I want to do.
Okay.
I know that's very vague, but self-control, you said the first thing came to mind. That's the first thing that came to mind. So when I think about self-control, I think about, I can be very impulsive. As I've gotten older, I've learned to step back and think before I do.
So what I was thinking, as you was talking, I was thinking about myself, like, all right, so what do I have to say about self-control? And my thought is, it's a work in progress. Like, at times, or for most of my life, I feel like I've always had an advantage of just being self-control. But you start looking at like really what it means, or you look at it, not what it really means, but in all facets of life, right? When we talking finances, I didn't necessarily have that self-control.
Ooh, I'm still working on that one.
you as far as like anger management, I ain't. I haven't really
Mastered it?
Yeah, I have. Like
You have?
Yeah.
I don't know you like that.
You thinking? You may be thinking. If me and you talking, you remember college.
But I'm not thinking of that.
Okay.
I'm not thinking of that. But I never thought you outside. I never known you to be quick to anger.
Yeah.
Or like overall in general.
I had a period where I was real quick to anger, and that was right immediately after my dad died. It was about 2 years, and when I go back, hindsight is 20/20, right? When I go back and look at it, that was how I dealt with my grief. Which it was just a lot of anger. I was just waiting for anything to pop off. But beyond that, I've been pretty self-controlled. I have a lot of self-control with that regards. Things that don't get to me that quick, I can think it through. But when it comes down to finances and a few other things, I've had to improve over time. And even with finances now, it's not like I'm perfect. But I have gotten better.
Like when it comes to finances, I could tell you point blank, the stereotype is like the man is always supposed to be the person strong in charge of finances.
Yes.
My wife is so much stronger in financing, like when it comes to financing and planning. At one point of time, in our marriage. She took care of everything. I worked, money got deposited into the account. I pulled a little bit out to myself in a separate account. She took care of all the bills and made there was always money left over. Was able to do certain things. This could be another topic for another day, but we, in that state of our life and been together, we figured out our roles. Like that role wasn't my sweet point, but I have gotten a lot better. Like before, I'm gonna admit it, I like to shop. I guess it's the reason why God put me in retail, because I like to shop. I like shiny new things. But as time is going, am I perfect at it now? No, I still working on that control not to buy. I can tell you, being back in South Carolina for the past 2 years, even before moving back, I had started getting a little bit better control of my finances. I'm still weak at it because there's still strength, but I know that it is a weakness. But I have a partner, my wife, Kesha, peace, that's strong and that I can lean on. And I'm not man enough to say I can lean on my wife when it comes to that part, when it comes to self-control.
Yeah, everybody got to know roles are important. This thing, yes, you can be fluid, but there are times where you don't need to be fluid. This needs to be this person assigned role because this is best for us. Yeah. Yeah, we ain't gonna hop on that too long.
So let's get back. I'm sorry, I sidelined that conversation, but control it. Yeah, I know as I've gotten older, and certain things in my life, I've had better control. I do get frustrated a lot faster than I used to about certain things, but I also hold it in a lot longer. Well, that part is not the good part, because that's creating stress and aggravation for myself.
Don't forget the homework from last time, last episode.
And it ain't been 10 days yet.
So we can be serious, but we gotta make sure we put some fun in there too. Yeah. So what we talking about today, Chris?
Ooh, it's a lot.
What we're gonna start off with, I should say.
It's I think this might be one of our top 3 episodes. Oh, even though it's only 3. Yeah. But
it gets better every time.
So, to clip or not to snip? To snip or not to snip?
To snip or not to snip? Oh,
wow. Vasectomy or not to vasectomy? And I might be saying that wrong. This week we also include the vasectomy on the screen with the correct pronunciation.
Yeah. For me, man, it's a big no-no. Like it's big, huge no-no.
I know.
All right, none. Like I don't really like doctors. I don't like surgery. I don't like hospitals. I've been fortunate up until this point in my life where I don't get sick very often.
Praise the Lord.
I haven't had any major illnesses. Thank God. And so I'm just not quick to go in and get snipped. And truth be told, if my wife wanted to have another child right now, we would.
Blessings.
Because I love kids. Kervin loved the kids. And
Chris loved his kids. I like Kervin kids.
I got 4 already.
I got 3.
And I would be willing to have a 5th one or a 6th one or a 7th one. Although I think she's done. We've had that conversation on more than one occasion. So, but for me, nah, I'm not clipping. Now, that being said, because she says she through, I'm through. I ain't trying to have nowhere else. But
so I'm gonna come back to that and ask you a question. So, I have 3 kids. If Kisha said she wanted to have a kid right now, we couldn't, because there's things that transpired in our lives that doesn't allow us to have any more kids. Mm-hmm. If we do have more kids, it'll come from adoption.
Okay.
And
that's possible.
That's possible. And that's real possible. Like, I was joking and said, I love my kids. I love all kids. Mm-hmm. Do I like everybody's kid? No. I love kids, and I know it in the kids' place. for me personally, vasectomy, me and Kesha had that conversation after the second child. I kept pushing it off. 2.5 years, no kid, no pregnancy. Then bam.
Oh, wow.
But I aborted, you know, I had a perfect fate. I had a perfect fate of not going in and doing that thing about getting it snipped. In my mind, it would have made me a less of a man, which is not the case.
Right.
But it was more of a fear. And I also was in my early 30s, you know, still trying to find who I was as a young man. Hindsight's 20/20. I'm happy that I have the 3 kids I have because there was a reason I had these kids. So for me personally, I didn't want to. There was no danger for us having kids. You know, when we were being fruitful and bringing forth beings to this earth. But yeah, no, for me, it's a hard no. I know people like we agree on this, so this is a hard conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to feel unnecessary pain down there, even if it's for 24 hours. Or I think they said it was like 24 to 48 hours.
From what I hear, it's like it's not painful at all. It's like a little numbness. You feel a little numb.
The pain comes afterwards.
Okay.
And not a lot of pain, because I think they give you meds for it and stuff like that. But I don't even want to be feeling uncomfortable. They say you can be awake while they do.
Well, I don't want to see that.
Nah, I'm
but
not.
but also too, like, we're not doctors. But a vasectomy is not even 100%.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, we can Google it and see what the percentage rate is. We'll make sure those statistics pop up inside this episode.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But nah, it's a hard no for me.
All right. So you know we talk about vasectomy.
Okay.
And I know this is gonna be a strange transition into something else.
What you got for me?
Look at your phone. Look at your phone. Look at your phone real quick.
All right.
What if that ex texts you right now? What you gonna do? What you gonna say? You gonna reply? You gonna show your wife? Or you gonna pull back and not respond? We gonna say not respond is we're gonna pull a Chris Gansey.
All right, so there's a lot there, right? Do you respond? Do you share it with your wife? First of all, this is I'm just trying to make sure.
No one's texted us no one sent us text right now. So,
All right, I'm trying to think. Has it happened to me? Yeah. It depends on what it is. All right, so if it's a text like, "Hey, big head, what's up? How you doing?" Nah, I'm not responding.
Because you know where that's going. You know where that's going.
Need to engage.
You know where that's going.
That's random. But again, I'm a therapist, right? So somebody was like, "Hey, I got a question about mental health." I'm probably going to respond to that because it might be very sincere. I might be able to help in that regard. So if it's kind of like business related, I'm looking at it like it's business related. I'm not looking at it as a past relationship. So my thought is to respond in that way, to kind of decipher from the beginning what the message is. So if it's "Hey, big head," nah, I'm not responding.
You know what? I'm gonna throw a little wrench in there. What if this ex that you're no longer with, y'all left on good terms? It basically you realize y'all weren't right for each other, and now you probably see them every blue moon, and now they're texting you.
Yeah, I mean that's how I was responding anyway. Because I'm on good terms. Well, I think I'm on good terms with everybody.
Fact check.
Nah, we don't need to fact check that. Nah, but still, my answer would still be the same. If I'm on good terms with you, I am even more likely to respond. Granted, if it's just a "Hey" or "Hey, big head," I don't know where that's going. I'm not gonna be quick to respond. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" And I'm not gonna be engaging. It would be the same thing.
So what if that text message is like, "Hey, I'm in town this weekend. I would love.
Nah.
It's like I will. Wait. I'm not finished. It'd be
You
great.
ain't got to finish.
No, it'd be great if you and your wife would meet me and my partner for a drink.
No, what for?
Like this is the person you ended a relationship with on good terms.
No, we don't need to go down no memory lane. What for? I mean, what good is that going to do? I don't need to meet her and her new significant other. At this point, everybody know where I'm at. Should know at this point. We have nothing to meet about. We have nothing to discuss. We have nothing to talk about ongoing like that. And I'm saying that like I got hair on my chest right now, but I don't mean any disrespect, but it doesn't, to me, I don't feel like where I need to engage you in that manner, unless it was business related, like you had a mental health question, or if one of my exes was a doctor or something, and I reached out to him because I want to know something. I'll reach out in that way, and I'm calling the last number I knew yet. So, why else? Now, you could argue, why is that even in your phone? Like, why you still have that number in your phone?
They didn't hit you up on your phone because we live in a different age. They slid into your DMs on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever social network. Because they're following you. You following them.
Yeah, my answer is still the same. Now, look, again, I'm 19 years in at this point. And I think my answer, it probably should have been different earlier, but it was probably different earlier. First 3-4 years, I'm probably still responding to any and everybody that hit me up. Why? Because I'm stupid. That's really the main reason, just flat out stupid. But at this point, man, you can't slide in like that. You can't slide in my DMs, you can't shoot me no texts, you can't do none of that. Right. I ain't trying to hear it.
So,
because I wouldn't want that from her.
Okay. So we're gonna take this right here as be smart. Do not. I say this with pure honesty. Do not reply to that ex.
Oh, so
but should you? What is she gonna be at homecoming? You gonna take your wife?
Homecoming? Nah. Yes, I am taking my wife. I'm sorry. I am taking my wife to homecoming, and it's funny you say that, right? So, my wife went to HBCU, so homecoming is big for them.
My wife went to NYU. They ain't no homecoming.
Oh, okay. Homecoming for us is not a big deal.
Not yet.
Not yet. To this point, it hasn't been.
So, but wait till October. We're gonna be shooting live from my home. Not live, but we're gonna record from my homecoming, and we're gonna try real hard. And we got to do this now since I'm saying it's on camera. We're gonna try hard to make it lit.
You definitely threw me under the bus just then. So now we got to keep the podcast going at least for a year, so that we can get to October. Dang, man, you threw me under the bus then. Did not know you was gonna do that. But it hasn't been to this point. Homecoming hasn't been a big deal for your wife, me and you. But for my wife, it is. I go to her homecoming, and I really enjoy myself. Yeah. I love it. And I would hate if she was like, nah, you can't come. Although I have been banned from her homecoming for a year or two. I did something asinine, and rightfully so. And I can't talk about it. I got to get her permission.
That's another podcast.
Yeah, I got to get her permission.
That's the podcast when we bring our spouses on.
Yes. But I wouldn't ban her from mine because I want people to know. This is me. This is an extension of me. Like, she is me. Like, at this point, she's me. So I got to, wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing, if it's something of significance or importance to me, she got to be there.
So basically, our spouses, now, I'm pulling us in. Our spouses are is our anchor in a sense. Yeah. Like they're lots of times our biggest cheerleaders. Sometimes cheering for us more than we cheer for ourselves.
Yeah.
So I know you're saying I kind of like skipped out of the text question.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I knew my wife was gonna be watching this episode, and I was trying to do a pump fake, but curving through that ball in the crowd.
Yeah.
I have received a text message from an ex.
Oh, okay.
And
my wife might say, wait a minute. Now you answer that this way on this podcast. She might get me. I'm definitely gonna make sure she watches this episode.
Yeah, the first time I received a text message from that ex, I deleted it. I'm like, oh no. Second time I did show my wife. I guarantee you 50 push-ups that she does not remember me showing her this text. I showed the text to her. I did reply. I did reply.
So,
but it was also
from that experience. Would you say, your answer changed based off of your experience? Like I just wouldn't.
And I'm not gonna say I wouldn't respond. Like every ex I had, no.
Okay.
I've had exes text me or call me back in the day before I was married, really, but still in a relationship with my wife, and will apologize for how things went in our relationship in the past. I'm like, okay, that was it.
So, look, I got a question. You said you're gonna throw a monkey wrench in. Man, I hope we don't get in trouble for doing this this episode. But you said something. If you respond, does that make that ex different from other exes? So if you're more likely to respond to an ex via DM or text, does that mean that she is different from the other exes that you wouldn't?
We're gonna get ourselves in trouble.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think it makes a difference.
Like,
I don't think it makes a difference.
It's like, I was blessed to date a lot of intelligent women, and I always dated up in a sense when it came to intellectual prowess, like academic wise. So, would I reply to every ex? No. Have I replied to one ex? I have. If they were to message me tomorrow, I would, or send me a text message, I would reply to that text message and also let my wife know. Yeah. But a text message be all it will be. I would not meet them.
Oh yeah.
I would not schedule a range of time to hang out.
I say yeah, like that goes without saying, but it's not like that. It's not that. That's not the case for everybody. But
like if they invite me to their wedding, that's free food.
This guy right here. So you would go. This guy. All right. So for the most part, I guess. Well, I don't even know where we stand. I know where I stand. I know where you stand, but I don't know if you could say we really disagree. I think we kind of saying.
You saying you wouldn't. I said I would. And I gave my reasons why. You gave your reasons why. Yeah. Like
I would if it's a mental health question, or if they a doctor or something.
But I'm a bartender. I make beer. I play scales on the bass.
That don't mean that they don't have a question with like, okay, how do I get started in this? You started. Correct me if I'm wrong. You started in craft beer, right?
Yeah.
How do you even start with that, right? You didn't drink like that in undergrad.
Yeah,
so
I barely drink. I almost never drink.
Yeah. So somebody might say, how do I get started? It could really be like that. Now, I think the ongoing stuff is really, the reason I say no is because you always have the possibility of it being ongoing, right? Mm-hmm. And you're basically putting yourself in a certain
situation that you shouldn't be putting, right?
Yeah. And so I try to avoid that at all costs. Even as I've gotten better with my marriage, not putting myself in certain predicaments, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to go out all the time or in certain places or certain events or certain festivals.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, I'm not going to put myself in situations where I know. Like, because one thing I've learned about myself over time, I know. Yeah. I know where I shouldn't be.
Right.
Because I know what I might try to do. Not try, what I would do.
Yeah.
And
I don't know nothing. I don't know
no,
nothing about nothing.
I'm like, then also as being an older person, being older and growing, me making those poor decisions,
Right.
how it affect
Everybody.
Everybody, yes.
Yeah.
Overall.
Like I like to say, everything affects everything. That came from what's my girl name that used to sing the song?
Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill. Everything affects everything, man. So we gotta be careful of that.
Yeah, because we mess up. That could put you in the sense of like of despair.
Yeah.
And sadness.
Depression.
Yeah, like if it's can you define depression for us real quick?
No, I cannot.
So since no, but I'm sorry. So your screen will be filled up with words, or probably in the notes at the bottom. Curvin might do a little off tape later and talk about what depression is, like from a clinical standpoint.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I didn't want to put, because I'll forget something or I might downplay it too much, right? Just off top. But it's symptoms that are associated with depression, isolation, sadness. It's some other stuff in there, but and it's leaving me right now for whatever reason. But you can have situational depression, which you put yourself in a situation, you go mess up, you go text your ex, and now you and your wife relationship is off.
It's strange.
And y'all don't. It's strange, and y'all connection is off. Now you, as a result, are off. You just have to be careful, man, because if your wife is, or the person you're with is what they say they are, you want it to stay that way, and everything that you do can influence or affect it in a certain way. And you got to be aware of how you move, the way that I move, how it affects her.
Yeah. And sometimes, to prevent ourselves or putting ourselves in a certain situation, goes back to the last episode, we talked about accountability, right? Mm-hmm. I might need to call my boy, Curvin. It's like, yo, yada, 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 yada. And if you're a true friend, and you also respect my relationship with my partner,
Hold you accountable.
you're gonna hold me accountable. It's like you're gonna pull questions out. It's like, you're gonna have me question some decisions. If we lose that self-control, since we're accountability, being account, because Black men in mental health, it's not a good mix sometimes because we don't tell people how we feel. We go into a box and crawl up, and we age ourselves with sorrow, guilt, and whatever else. And I am not a mental health specialist. Part of speaking from a personal standpoint, but certain things like let's not put ourselves up. But there are times mental health is real now with highly melanated people, and it's still a taboo for us to be talking about mental health. Yeah. It's much better than it was 30 years ago.
Absolutely.
Much better to go. I'm 48 years ago, like going to therapy. It's not as passe as it was before. But the problem is finding a good therapist, or finding a therapist. Then, if you find a therapist, then find a good therapist.
Yeah. Hopefully, I'm a good one. I think I'm a good one. But you said it's better than it was 30 years ago. Question. Me and my wife were talking about it, and she was saying on campus, they had a therapist on campus. I believe she said this while she was there.
We had one too.
We did?
Yeah.
I was telling her I didn't think we had one. Mm-hmm. But the fact that I didn't know, that's probably more on me and the stigma that was connected to, like, I didn't feel like at that time. Because in undergrad, I didn't know I was going to be a therapist. I was majoring in psychology, but I didn't know I was going to be a therapist. So the thought is, I don't need to go see nobody. I don't need to talk to nobody. And I ain't even try to think about it from the stand. I didn't even try to figure out if we had somebody on campus. So.
Like I knew we had it. It's not like I used them, but I knew people who had, Houston.
Okay, yeah.
But if you ask what the school psychologist was,
Yeah.
I can maybe answer that question.
Okay. But one of the things, too, that I wanted to point out, we talked about our wives a lot on this particular episode, but they are they're an extension of us, but they're our support, right? And in being our support, I want to kind of segue that into, a lot of things that we face or that can lead us into depression or anxiety. We can alleviate some of that, eliminate some of that by our connections and using our support network. Because our support network can help us with building resilience. Our support network can be that listening ear. Our support network can hold us accountable for our actions and help us realize that, okay, point A happened, which connected to B, which connected to C. Not taking away from professionals who do this, but utilizing your support network, and hopefully you have one. If you don't have one, then you need to build one, right? And we could probably talk about that in a later episode about how to build a healthy support network, not just rely on any and everybody, but luckily I shouldn't say luckily, I've been blessed to have a beautiful relationship with my wife, my kids, my siblings. So I have a really good support network.
This is because we're getting ready to wrap it up. This is a topic that I don't know if it's not next episode, and it could be a whole episode the next time, episode 4, that we move back into this. It could be episode 5, but we're gonna expand on mental health, especially for men, and especially for Black men, the mental health. And we're blessed to have Kervin Searles as one of the hosts of this podcast, that we can really go in depth with this. But yeah, we're gonna. This is like we need to probably ask another question, like in this on the uptick.
So you want to do? No, we ain't gonna do that because we'll go too deep in it. We go into the jar. Let's just y'all reach out to us, give us some topics that y'all would like to hear from us to expound on. We're coming from the perspective of just being dads, being lovers, being providers, being what you have to be as a human being. Period. As a human being, yeah. I didn't want to say as a man, even though we are men. But maybe I should say that because, like we stated earlier, sometimes roles, even though we can be fluid in our roles, some roles do need to be defined, and you have to play them out. So I play the role out of being a man. Yeah. Hopefully, I am what I think I am in that regard.
Or the man you are.
Yes.
You play the role of the man you are.
I can't be the man my dad was or my granddaddy was, but I can be the man that I am.
Yes. Yeah. So that's right. So remember that. Be the man you are. Yeah. Be the person be the woman you're gonna be. Like, be you. I used to work for the Gap. Authentic. I used to work for the Gap, and their saying was, "You be you."
Oh yeah.
You be you. Yeah, that's one of their mottos. It was more of an internal thing, but you be you. As you being you, make sure you pick up this phone, go to Instagram, and follow us on 3 Rows.
Mission.
No, it's 3 Rows.
It's just 3 rows.
There's 3 Rows. Also follow us on Fanbase, 3 Rows. We don't know if TikTok will be around. And actually, you know what?
We don't care.
I don't care. And not in a negative sense. We're not looking for clickbait. We're here to tell our story and tell our journey, and be inspiration, a positive inspiration to people coming behind us that might pass us, people that's above us that need some reminders, and also life is work. We talked about this in the last episode about relationships. Life is work, relationships are work. And we want to talk about the work we're doing now, because this time I didn't put in the work in my relationship or fully in my family. Sometimes I put more work on my kids than I did in my relationship. So, reminding you, like, nothing is easy. Anything worth having is not easy. You have to work for everything you have if you want it to be successful. Nothing comes. What's given can be easily taken away. And if you're not putting forth that effort or that energy, you might lose it.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to add to that. You hit the nail on the head.
So I'm gonna say peace. We're gonna see you on episode 4. The topic is up in the air.
You know something? We ain't say a pause not one time.
A pause?
Yeah, you know how Mace and Cameron say pause?
Oh, I don't watch that.
Okay.
I'll go back and do my research so I know the cultural references.
Okay. You got it. You got to know the cultural reference.